Hi there, Unite for Her community. Cameron here again on this wonderful Monday evening. And I already see some people liking, which is amazing. It is 8 o'clock, and I'm excited to be back here with all of you once again for another Summer Chef Series edition. And we have a really special guest tonight. Many of you, most of you, will know our special chef this evening, and I'm thrilled to be here with her this evening talking about an incredible recipe that you all are going to love. So without further ado, I am going to bring in Unite for Her's very own. Here she comes.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm so excited.
This is so fun. I feel like we actually, at our office in Westchester, Erin and I sit directly across from each other, and I've missed seeing you on a weekly basis. So this is a lot of fun.
I know. And all the recipe sharing and like food and hearing. I love to hear what Nora likes to eat, what we don't like today, what we do. I mean, it's just, it gives me life.
The list of what we don't like continues to grow. So I'm hoping that maybe what you're making this evening is something that,
yeah, hopefully.
we can add to our repertoire. So what are you making for us this evening?
So these are really easy. So I'm making veggie fritters tonight, which are so good. There's a little bit of prep work ahead of time, but they're really easy to throw in the pan, saute. And I'm making one of my favorite condiments, a like tangy Carolina style mustard sauce. And I'll talk a little bit about where that sort of came from when I'm ready to throw that together. But I'm a total mustard lover. And this just has like tang and a little bit of spice and a little bit of heat. Like there's just a little bit of everything. And if you love that, it's super, super easy. It makes a lot. So it's great to like make a bunch during the week and then save it in your fridge. It's so good. So
sounds delicious. Sounds like it has like every element to it. For anyone watching, we have a great group watching already. We have 15 people. Hello. So please say hi. Say hi to Erin. And as you're watching, as Erin is cooking and demonstrating this dish tonight, please ask away. Ask questions. I will be watching the comments and passing those questions along to Erin. I know she has some great tips as well this evening. So let's get started.
Okay, let's do this. So yeah, so I'm making veggie fritters. It is, you know, I am constantly seeking ways to get vegetables in. Michelle and I talk about it all the time. And this is a really great way to use seasonal vegetables. There's so much color in these and there's so much texture. There's so much flavor. They freeze really well. The recipe doubles really well. So you're welcome to make a bunch and freeze it and then reheat it. I'll talk about refreezing in a minute, but it's just so good. So the little bit of prep, I'm using broccoli, I'm using carrots, some zucchini, onion. All of those, I used my food processor earlier today, just so you know. And I used like the little holes in my food processor just to grate everything. It was such a time saver. So I did that earlier, and I used all different colors of carrots because I wanted it to look good. We want our food to look good. So there's purple and yellow and orange. So it's just like really bright and fun, which hopefully Nora will like that as well because it'll look really good.
If you can sneak pink in, then we're set. So
I mean, we might be able to do that. So yeah, so the most important thing when you are grating your zucchini, and we're going to start with that. Actually, we'll do that in a moment. But when I grated my zucchini, and I'll show you what it looks like, I used 2 or 3. Ooh, I can't get the lid off. 2 or 3 like small zucchini, grated it, and then I put it in a bowl, and I put a bowl on top, and I weighed it down. Zucchini is a very high water content vegetable. We have to get that water out, or this whole dish won't hold together. It'll be really soppy. So I did that for like an hour. You just need some sort of weight. And then when I'm done, and I added a little bit of salt. So like a teaspoon of salt just to pull that water out some more. Once all of that was at the bottom of a bowl, I grabbed a cheesecloth. You can use a couple paper towels. You can use a clean kitchen towel, and you are going to wring as hard as you can, as much water out of this as you can. Because again, the water content is so high, we have to remove some of that because the final product won't be so good. So it does take a little bit of work on that end. It's just a little bit of extra time. So I did that earlier, but you know, the grating of all the veggies takes no time at all. So let me show you how I put this together.
Okay.
So we're going to start with like dry ingredients. So I am using first panko breadcrumbs. So think like all the binders that you would put with like a meatball if you were making it. So we're going to use panko breadcrumbs. You can use, so the recipe calls for like a chickpea flour. I found this protein flour that uses chickpeas, lentils. Hold on, I'll show you.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Oh my gosh, it was great. So it's this brand.
Okay.
And it's got chickpea flour, whole wheat flour, lentil flour. There's 10 grams of protein in it, which, you know, we have all of these beautiful vegetables and fiber, but we want a little bit of fat, a little bit of protein. So this is like such a great find. So you can use chickpea flour. I'm using a little bit of this flour. You're welcome to use whole wheat flour if you want to do that, whatever you have. So I'm using like a quarter, half a cup. I'm going to throw that in there. I'm adding some baking powder to this.
And this recipe, all of Erin's measurements are actually going to be on Unite for Her's blog. So
yep.
Everything broken down.
Totally. Yep. Everything is on there. And like I said, this recipe doubles really well. So if you are feeding a lot, or if it's something that you want to make all at once and freeze half of it, you'll have no problem doing it.
Erin, I am using saying hi. Colleen, hi. Jen's watching, Teresa, Karen, and Maureen. Colleen wanted to know where you found that flour. I'm assuming she meant the flour.
So I was in Sprouts Market, but I just found it with the other flours. So where the whole wheat flour would be, the regular flour, you'll also see like almonds, chickpea, and this was just a blend that was in that aisle. So that's where like the baking aisle is. I don't know if it's in every grocery store. This was new to me, but I loved the combination of chickpeas and lentils and some whole wheat flour. I really like the mixture.
Awesome. And it was the Arrowhead brand. You might even be able to.
Oh, you can probably buy it online or buy it on Amazon if you want. Yeah, it's the Arrowhead.
Perfect.
Yeah, I love this. I love it. There's so many cool things to find out there. So I'll tell you what, I'll show you what else I found in a bit. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'm adding nutritional yeast to this. So you could also add something like Parmesan, but I really love nutritional yeast. I love, it gives like that umami flavor, that sort of essence of cheese. This is a fabulous substitution. If you don't want to add dairy, if you want to do Parmesan with it, by all means go for it. But I'm using, again, like half a cup to a quarter cup of nutritional yeast. So
hi, Emily. Hi, Carol. We got some more viewers.
Together. Hi, guys. Okay, so we've got everything mixed really well. And now we're going to add our vegetables to this. So like I said, I'm going to use like a cup of broccoli. This is clearly more than a cup, so I'm not going to use all of this. But this, I mean, just throwing a bunch of broccoli in your food processor is such a time saver, you know? Okay, and then we have our rainbow carrots.
I love them. They're my favorite.
The best. So you see there is like some purple pinks in here, yellow, orange. So we're going to throw some of that in there too. I'm not going to use everything. All right, and then we have our zucchini. So remember, it's been pressed. The water has come out of it. So it's clumped. So you want to make sure that you're sort of breaking it apart because we want it to be even through it. So
this is a great meatless Monday. I know that we try and do that.
Totally. Oh yeah. And it's real. I'll tell you what, it is really filling. It is really hearty. I am using some beautiful local corn from New Jersey. Thanks to my dear good friend Monica, who brought me some New Jersey corn. So I cooked this earlier, and I have to say I used Scott's tip from last week about cutting the corn, and I just was like, thank God he taught us that.
Well, and I feel like we need a follow-up here, and Karen is watching, that we were actually all winners in that conversation because we were all correct. It is a vegetable, a grain, and a fruit. So we were all winners. I needed to follow up with that.
That is so good. I hope he logs on so we can just like share that bit of information.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And then finally, I sauteed a whole onion. So a little bit of salt and pepper with this, some olive oil. I sauteed this earlier. You certainly could use raw onion, but I like the flavoring that sauteed onion adds to this. So I'm going to add some of that to it.
Yeah, there's definitely two very distinct raw or sauteed
Correct.
when it comes to an onion. So personal preference.
Yep. So yeah, and I just like the flavor that is sauteed onion. So, okay. So now we're going to mix. You want to make sure the most important thing is that you're mixing your dry ingredients together with it. And if you want to use your hands, by all means, go for it. Using your hands, number one, it's fun. So get the kids involved. Number two, it ensures that your zucchini is broken up, that everything is just like a nice, even texture. There's not a lot of clumps. This just like looks really, really good.
The colors are vibrant. They're beautiful.
Right? So you can see as I'm sort of mixing. Yeah, this looks really good. And again, like adding that nutritional yeast, the flavor immediately that you get from it, it's really, really nice. Okay. So let me wash my hands. All right, so now we need a binder. I'm here. I'm over here. So now we need a binder. So I'm going to add 2 eggs that I have here. I have a third on the side in case I need it. Oops. If you don't want to use eggs, let me tell you what else I found in the grocery store today.
Just full of all these new fun fun.
You can't send me to the store without coming home with something new. So of course, for a binder, if you don't want to use eggs, you could do something like a flaxseed, like a flax binder. So you can take some flax meal, 1 tablespoon of flax meal to 2.5 tablespoons of water, mix it together, let it sit till it gets thick. And that replaces 1 egg in a recipe like this. It doesn't always work for baking, but with something like this, it's usually fine.
Okay. And Erin, before you share that really awesome new find, Karen was curious where you purchased your nutritional yeast.
Oh, this is Trader Joe's. This is what I used.
Awesome.
This is Trader Joe's. Yeah.
I've heard it's really good to sprinkle over popcorn too.
Oh my gosh. You can put it on anything. Anything, think about it. Anything where you would put like that Parmesan cheese, that's where you would use nutritional yeast. So even if you were like roasting chickpeas and you wanted a little bit of that, finish your roasted chickpeas with some of it. It's so good. Okay. Well, my other find was, I feel like I don't work for these. I'm not getting any credits. Let's just start with that. Okay. So Bob's Red Mill, I found, I'm totally picking this up, has this egg replacer. And, we always look at the ingredients on everything we have. So it's potato starch, tapioca flour, baking soda, and psyllium husk fiber. So you get a little bit of the fiber, the starch and the fiber add that binder that you want, plus the baking soda. So this would be a fabulous substitution as well. Again, if you're looking for a non-animal product substitution.
That's awesome.
That's my PSA.
I love it. And Colleen asked, what about roasted cauliflower? Will the nutritional yeast work on top of roasted cauliflower?
Oh, definitely. 100% it will. Yeah. And that would be something that you could probably add to your roasted cauliflower while you were roasting it. But then when you take it out of the oven, finish it with a little bit on there, and it would be like spectacular.
Okay. And I love cauliflower style popcorn. This is Colleen. I know. This has to be a separate conversation because I don't even know what you're talking about. Because I love anything cauliflower. So
do I. Have you had cauliflower wings?
Oh, I've tried them in the air fryer before. I think I need to give it another go though.
Yes, sometimes I'm pulling out a zucchini. Yeah, I feel like they can be hit or miss, but when they're good, they're so good.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I whisked up my 2 eggs. I'm going to add a little bit of seasoning, just some salt and pepper to this. And so let me do that first before I decide if I need to add some binder, another egg to this. Because what you want is you want it to hold together. When you press it into a patty, if it's still falling apart, you need a little bit more to it. So I added some black pepper. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And then let's see how we do. And I might have to whisk up another egg. This is all it's just like trial and error. But once you know the texture you want to shoot for, that's what you want. So let's see. No, that's good. Yeah, so when I press it together, it holds together.
Perfect.
That's what you want to shoot for. All right, good. All right, so that's our mixture for our veggie fritters.
Hi, Sue. You just joined. Hi,
Oh,
Sue.
hi, Sue.
And Michelle. So Michelle just said that the nutritional yeast on popcorn tastes like cheese. So I now know what I'm adding to my shopping list, because look at the variety of ways you can use it.
I mean, and you can't beat the price of Trader Joe's. You really
Okay.
can't. Okay, so I'm just going to make a couple of these, and then I'll finish them later.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so on a non-stick skillet, and I have, this is a cast iron ceramic that I absolutely love. I am going to heat this up to like medium-high heat. So with that, I'm going to add a little bit of oil to the pan, and my preferred oil for this is avocado oil because it's got the higher smoke point. I know this is going to get a little hot. Mm-hmm. My goal is to brown either side of the fritter. So we're talking like 2 to 3 minutes, medium-high heat. When you're using a pan like this, you want to make sure the pan is hot before you put oil on it. So I always let it sit here for a little bit before I throw the oil in, just to make sure that it's hot. You don't want to add oil to a cold pan.
And avocado oil, do you ever find, and because I just started using it, do you ever find, and maybe I'm just not using it correctly, I actually have a spray one of it, and
yeah. I
found that it cooked things faster, even in my air fryer too. That, like, it would almost burn easier. Does that make sense? Or
really?
I know. That's why I let Kyle do most of the cooking. So keep going.
Yeah, because usually it deals like so much more. It's like so much better with the higher heat. Now, I'm always nervous with some of those sprays because they might add other things to it.
Okay.
However, I'd like to shout out to my mom for giving me this. So I have one of these that's just like a spray, but I add the oil myself.
That is so cool. Okay, yeah. I love that.
So this is evooilsprayers.com. It's probably a QVC purchase. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, you can find these at anywhere, Bed Bath & Beyond, Williamson, like wherever, Amazon. And then you just add your own oil, and then you don't have to worry about like alcohol or cooking agents or anything.
I'll have to check the back of mine. You know what? Maybe that could be why too. But that's I love that. I love that tip. And I know Michelle had that really cute oil pourer from Italy. So there's a lot of fun gadgets you can definitely use.
So many fun gadgets. I know. So, okay. So I added a little bit of avocado oil to this. Now I'm going to make these in the pan. You can also make these in the oven.
Okay.
Or in your air fryer. So a little bit different. So if you want to do it in your air fryer or in your oven, I would recommend when you make your cake, maybe breading it with a little bit of panko or a little bit of a fine breadcrumb and using a little bit of that spray, because by itself, it's not going to crisp up like it will in this pan. So you have to add a little bit of a breading to it.
Okay.
And then throw it in the oven or throw it in your air fryer or, toaster oven or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you got it. You were confirmed. You were correct. It was QVC.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. She keeps that company in business. Okay. But we won't say anything more than that. Okay. So I'm using my scooper. So I love one of these scoopers. So I'm using like a traditional scooper.
Mm-hmm.
And this looks great. So like a big handful. And then when I put this in the pan, I'm going to press it down so it's like a patty. Perfect. And you want to hear it sizzle, which I can start to hear it sizzle. And then you're going to let it go. So I'm going to throw 2 of these in the pan. And then, like I said, 2 or 3 minutes on either side. And with all the different vegetables, there's so much texture. There's so much good color to it that this is, if you're talking about eating with your eyes and flavor, this is such a great way. And I have to say, the local corn puts me right over the edge. It's so good.
It really does. The Jersey corn is the best.
The best. Oh my gosh.
Erin, Teresa had a question that she said, why are you waiting to press if you actually put it in the pan?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Why you were pressing it down, you were molding it in your hands and then pressing it when you put it into the pan. Was there a reason you were waiting until you put it in the pan to press?
Just because, just for like better, more even surface area, I would imagine, versus like my hand that is like incredibly flat. So for pressing it, like I'm like pushing everything together. I'm making sure that everything is molded together. And then once I know that, I can put it in and then let it go.
Perfect.
So I'm lying because I'm saying I'm not really going to touch them, but I'm really not going to touch them for just a couple minutes. I'll let them brown. If I feel like they're getting too hot too quickly, know that you can always turn it down a little bit. But they'll go quick on either side. So 3 minutes, we'll flip them, we'll brown them, and then I'll put them on a plate with a paper towel and kind of let them drain a little bit, and then we'll call it a day.
Perfect. Super fun, easy. And I love, like you said, encouraging and getting the kids in there. This is such a great hands-on recipe.
Oh my gosh.
The kids could have a lot of fun with. And whenever the kids get involved, they tend to eat what they make. So
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. And this is something where even if you have a couple kids at the table, if they just want to make like a few little veggie balls and then you take them and put them in little bits, it's a perfect activity. And then you're right, it gets them involved. So there's so much that kids can do to kind of bring them into the kitchen. So, all right, so I'll set that aside. And then while they are browning, let's make our mustard sauce.
Perfect.
So this, I started making and playing with a little bit of a concoction like this right after college. So I'm trying to figure out where to put my egg so I don't drop it on the floor. After college, I moved to North Carolina working for NASCAR. And I started to get into Carolina barbecue. And mustard sauce is really big with Carolina barbecue. And so you can get it, at all the barbecue places. But I was like, you can totally make this. And I like tangy. I like smoky. I like all of that. So these are really easy to do. So let me show you. You need a little saute pan, this little guy. And let me get my recipes or my ingredients. Hold on. And try not to drop everything. Oh, God. Hold on, let me check. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. They look beautiful.
And we will definitely bring that over and show you what it looks like on each side when they're done cooking. I can hear it sizzling.
This is a perfect fritter. Can you see how they're browned?
Oh, yes. That's
perfect. Perfect. So again, another 2 or 3 minutes. We'll let them brown. Oh my gosh. And it really does pay to have a good nonstick pan. There have been many times that I've tried to make these and they stick to the pan or, I end up, it falls apart. It's like a mess. It's a mess. So I really love this cast iron. I love cooking with. I love the ceramic top. It's like the perfect for browning. So
cast iron, awesome.
Okay. So let's start with our mustard sauce. Actually, let me put this back here. Okay. Small saucepan. Yellow mustard is the base for this.
Okay.
So I'm using a cup of yellow mustard. That will go in first.
Erin, Colleen wants to know if she has a nonstick that isn't cast iron. Is that okay?
Sorry, say that one more time. Oh, yeah, say that one more time.
If she has a nonstick, but it's not cast iron.
That's totally fine. So there's a lot of different nonsticks. I don't love things like Teflon because of the coating that's on it. So if you're using something that's nonstick like that, you always want to make sure that you're using gentle cookware with it, not something metal that can scratch it, but silicone or wood. You really want to do what you can to protect the integrity of it. Okay, yellow mustard, apple cider vinegar. And I'm just going to add all of these to the saucepan and then whisk them together, and then they'll go on the stovetop. Can you see that? Okay, there we go. Apple cider vinegar. I have a little bit of brown sugar. If you want to use, you can try to experiment if you don't want to use brown sugar with like maybe a little bit of maple, but I really like the flavor that the brown sugar gives. And again, this makes a lot. Perfect. All right, these are done.
And everyone that is just joining, because we have a few more people joining this recipe of the veggie fritters that Erin is making, as well as the mustard sauce, will be on our blog, on uniqueforher.org's blog.
Yep. So these are done. Look at how beautiful they are. They're absolutely perfect. They hold together perfect. So good. So we'll let them cool and we'll let them drain there. Okay. Brown sugar's added. I'm adding cayenne pepper.
My favorite.
So good. So I'm adding a teaspoon. I don't know where my little teaspoon measure went. I have half a teaspoon here. So a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. A couple teaspoons of smoked paprika. If you want to start with like 1 teaspoon, if you want to use regular paprika instead, if you don't like that smoke, by all means go for it. It's not for everyone, in which case you could just use regular paprika. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. That doesn't fit in there. You know, we'll do this. All right, 2 tablespoons Dijon mustard. You know, there's a lot of different Dijons out there.
There are.
There are. So sometimes I like to go for ones that have like a much stronger flavor. Again, my tablespoon won't fit, so I'm using a teaspoon. If anybody wants to know, there's 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. So if you're ever in a pinch like me, there's that.
Okay.
All right. Dijon mustard, a little bit of garlic powder. Teaspoon of garlic powder. You can also use minced garlic if you want, fresh garlic for a little bit of that.
Sue just said hungry yet again. It looks so good. And that is the problem. The one problem of doing this at 8 o'clock at night.
I know. I have to say I'm pretty excited to like make all of these fritters once we wrap up here.
Oh, I'm sure.
They'll make a fabulous dinner. But you say, I mean, once you do a little bit of prep and you mix everything together, that's how long it took to make.
Which is like awesome.
So easy. So easy. We're all, you know, we all need time. Okay, I'm adding a little bit of barbecue sauce. So a tablespoon, add your favorite barbecue sauce, whatever you like, for a little bit of that flavor. And then Worcestershire sauce. And then we'll give it a whisk. And we're going to heat this on the stove on like low heat. What we're really trying to do is sort of let that brown sugar dissolve. You don't want too high of heat. I'm just going to mix everything together. It's going to end up with this beautiful golden yellow color. It's really good. Okay, so everything is whisked. Low heat. 3 to 5 minutes maybe. You don't want it to boil. I don't want to see any sort of bubbles whatsoever. I just sort of want to know that it's warm, that it's heating through, and that the brown sugar is incorporating.
Awesome. And Sue wants to know, I know you said you were going to touch on that, is if the fritters hold up well as leftovers.
Oh, yes, they do. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. They absolutely do hold up. And if you want to reheat these, I would do this in the oven, like 300, 15 minutes, see where that takes you. But they reheat beautiful. They also freeze, like I said, really beautiful. So you could make them, bring them down to room temperature. I wrap them individually and stick them in the freezer. And then from frozen, you can throw them in your oven. Same thing. And it'll take a little bit longer, but they reheat beautifully.
Perfect.
Yep.
Especially after you make, you're doing all that prep with all those veggies, make some extra, so then you have incredible leftovers.
Totally. And you can really mix and match different vegetables. So, utilizing frozen vegetables if you want as well. One of my favorite frozen veggies are actually like fire roasted corn that you can get at a couple places because I like that flavor. Well, if you have a bag of that, I would take a cup of that out, let it defrost a little bit, and add that instead. You don't even have to use fresh. You could do that with broccoli as well. So if you have frozen broccoli florets, let them defrost a little bit, maybe give them a rough chop to really break them up, and then add it in. That's it.
It's a great way to use up, sometimes also it's a great way to use up the veggies in your fridge too.
Yeah. And I encourage you, so again, I really pulled flavor from the salt and pepper and the nutritional yeast that I used. and then the caramelized onions. But if you have a favorite seasoning mix, or if you have particular herbs, especially now with fresh herbs, like throwing some parsley or throwing some basil in there, or like fresh oregano, chop up what you have and throw them in. That would be really nice. So.
And as Erin, Erin and I were actually talking about before we jumped on, as that's cooking down, Erin was so excited because you just signed up for something really great today.
I did. So I joined, if anybody's looking for a Unite for Her virtual race team, I signed up for the Unite for Her half marathon because I was telling Cam that like all the races that I would do are canceled, or they're virtual, or I don't know what's happening with them. And so, you know, I like to work towards something. So now that we have the half marathon option, I'm like, this is amazing. It gives me a goal to work towards. So I signed up for that, and I started Team Plant Your Steps. So in the nature of vegetables, I went Plant Your Steps. So if anyone's looking to join a race team, join ours. You know, and I, if it's my family, I promise I'll make you brunch afterwards. So I will, you know, drag you in with food. It's fine.
All the incentives. Well, it's so fun. And if you have marathon option, we have so many really fun incentives along the way. I wore my last year's Unite for Her 5K t-shirt. So when Erin told me she made her team today, I knew we had to share that with everyone because it's just wonderful, and I love your team name. Very creative.
I had to be food forward, you know, I like couldn't help myself. I was Googling the whole time I was registering. I'm like, Plant Your Steps.
Perfect. Well, we're appreciative, and everyone watching, registration is open.
Yeah.
And Colleen said, so Erin, you're on record that you're buying us lunch. So.
Yeah, I will prepare brunch or lunch or whatever the family wants. That's fine.
And then when you're all eating brunch, you can join us. We're going to have a virtual tailgate on the 26th that everyone who participates, we can celebrate our community all together virtually.
Yeah, well, and I love that. And you're right. You know, kind of, you know, it encourages you to be around people that you're comfortable being around. You can do an activity together. You know, you have designated times where everyone can get together and then you can celebrate. So I really love the different facets that you added in this year, and you know, everything is virtual, so it's so nice.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. I mean,
everybody's doing Zoom happy hours anyway, so might as well, you know,
dive into the party.
I know. I know. So, okay. So our you know, tangy Carolina style mustard. I don't want to touch the bottom. That would be a problem. Okay. So do you see that color?
Yes. Beautiful.
So you can tell that it's warm. So I know that, you know, the brown sugar has been dissolved. The flavor will continue to evolve a little bit, but you get a little bit of sweet. You definitely get a little bit of that smoke. So that's why I say if you don't love sort of a little bit of that smoke flavor, then pull back on the smoked paprika a little bit, and then maybe you just use 1 teaspoon. You can sort of manipulate it. You know, you can always add a little bit once you heat it. There's so many things you can do to sort of make it perfect, but I think it's fabulous.
Right, you can always add, like you said, you can add. So if it's the first time making it, slowly adding the spices you might not usually use in there to make sure that it's
or if you don't want too much. But I really like that tanginess. I like the flavor that the apple cider vinegar gives. I really like all of that flavoring. So, all right, so here, ooh, you can't really see that, can you? Over this way.
That's better. Yeah, that's better. And you can hold, and then.
Oh yeah. All right. So what I normally do when I make these, I just drizzle a little bit. Like I said, this makes a ton of sauce. So what I will do, you want to let this cool. So I'll take it off of a hot stove, let it cool, and I store it in like whatever sort of glass storage container I have. And then I keep it in the fridge. I would keep it for 5 to 7 days at most, just from like a food safety perspective.
Okay.
But you can use it so many things. So this is what we have. So I just always drizzle a little bit on top. Yeah, this holds together perfect.
It looks incredible. I feel like this is the ladies on Team Plant Your Steps might be having this for brunch during the virtual tailgate too. It goes perfectly.
Absolutely. And it's the perfect sort of flavor finisher with it. This is so good. And all the different textures of the vegetables. And it does, like, when you cut into it, it just holds together perfectly. It's really good. Really good.
It looks amazing. I think the only downside of these is that I can't try everything.
Because I definitely have enough to share with you. I wish you lived closer, Cameron.
I know.
We'll have to come on down.
We'll have to, this is why we all have to make this ourselves and then put it on social media, tag Unite for Her, so we can see the different variations. What vegetables did you use? And
absolutely. What kind of flavorings? I love that. I love that. So this is just like really good. It's really easy. It's a perfect weeknight. CSA vegetable, you know, receivers, use your veggies for this. It's all really great seasonal things. So enjoy. This is so good.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if anyone has any final questions for Erin about the fritters. Colleen said, I bet children would even love this.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Look at all the pretty colors, too.
So good.
So it looks amazing.
I don't want to be rude. I keep shutting my face, but.
Oh, no. I'm just jealous I'm not, too. So.
I'm like, guys, I'm leaving. I got
some fritters to eat. So thank you, Erin. Thanks for sharing that with us.
So welcome.
I know that because we have a good amount of our women watching. Some maybe have their passport right now or had previously used it. But I would love for you just to tell a minute or two of what you and Michelle are now doing for those with a passport. Yeah, because you shifted beautifully.
And we've got so many exciting things happening. So, so if you are a current passport holder, you know, Michelle and I always love coming into the home and doing cooking demos with our women. I mean, I hope one day we can get back to them. But until then, we started doing cooking webinars. So in Zoom fashion, Michelle and I are teaching our women to cook 3 really tasty, delicious seasonal recipes. And we hold classes for 10 people, as many as 10 people. We have available dates and times through the month of August. So we will be teaching a class every week, and we want to keep it to that small number because we want to, you know, keep it intimate. We want everybody to engage with each other, have a good time, feel comfortable asking questions. We change our recipes every 2 months, so everything will be really seasonal. Right now, we're using peaches and basil and arugula and zucchini, like all of these wonderful seasonal produce. You know, and we make things with fish and chicken and all of that. But we're hosting all of that. So if you're a current passport holder, I know Gail has sent out some emails about registering for that. If anybody's interested, by all means, reach out to me. I'm happy to send you our link to get registered. Michelle has her first class this Thursday afternoon, and I believe we have 1 spot open. So if anybody's interested in a 1 o'clock cooking webinar this Thursday with Michelle, we'll both be there, but she'll be leading in the kitchen. We've got 1 spot available. But yeah, we do them every week. It's been amazing. It's been super fun. You know, like everybody's so engaged. It's just such a great time. So
it's really, and as a staff, we were fortunate enough to get some sneak peeks of this webinar.
Yeah.
And it was such a fun hour. Michelle, we got to see Michelle's last week, and it was awesome. So anyone that signs up for this is in for a treat.
Yeah, and it's 1 square on your passport, and you're right, it's an hour. So we do the cooking, you get the recipes ahead of time, you get to see the menu, but then you can just sort of watch and engage and, you know, not feel the pressure to like work along with us, but certainly ask questions. And like I said, it's just an hour. So we really make good use of our time, of your time, but it's like it's a great virtual option. So we love it.
And it's nice to see everyone's faces and they ask
so
questions.
Nice.
It's wonderful. And just that idea and how you and Michelle shifted and the nutritional program, it's awesome because
we've had such a great time, such great feedback so far. Women that have said we can't wait for the next time when we change our menu in September. Like, we'll see you in September. So, it's been a really great experience so far.
Teresa actually just said, and now we have a firsthand testimonial.
I know Teresa.
Highly recommends the webinar. She made one of the recipes this weekend too, and it was easy. Just always so, you know, you don't want to feel that intimidation. And all of the recipes you and Michelle are making,
right?
They really are. They're easy. They're approachable. And they're delicious.
And they're delicious, right? So we don't want these recipes to be intimidating, but we do want them to be like empowering for you to make them and be like, oh my gosh, it was way easier than I thought. It impresses the crowd, it impresses the family. You know what I mean? Like, it appears much harder than it is, but they're just so good. So I'm so glad she made it. And we love Teresa. I know we'll see her in the future, so she's fabulous.
Perfect. Well, to everyone out there watching tonight, thank you so much for joining Erin and I. If you make this recipe, please post it on social media.
Definitely.
Share what you made, and have a wonderful rest of your week.
Yeah.
And Erin and I and the rest of the staff will all see you soon in some form or another.
Yeah, join my team. Plant your steps.
Yes.
Join my team.
Yes. And this year's Unite for Her shirt, the 5K 2K shirt, we are going to premiere that design very soon. So just keep a watch on our social media for all the fun things happening.
Good. I can't wait.
All right. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye, guys.
Bye.